Hello and welcome everyone. This is Type V3 with an SRC review of what's arguably the most important super robot of them all, Mazinger Z. Piloted by Kabuto Koji and forged from Chogokin itself, this is the classic Go Nagai hero that influenced an entire genre. Originally released back in 2010 as the first entry in the then all-new Super Robot Chogokin toy line, Bandai made sure to put their best foot forward with this Mazinger figure, and it shows. Everything about its look and feel scream premium in quality. The overall sculpt remains faithful to the anime, and the paintwork has been precisely applied, resulting in crisp and clean lines. A combination of metallic, metal flake, and high gloss finishes were used and give off a delicious appearance when hit with light. The head sculpt is wonderful, and I love how the inside of it was painted a flat black. The removable hover piler is great too, though I do wish the red paint were metallic in finish. Now there are some disappointing areas to this figure. Mold flash exists on the inner seams of the thighs, and I think the design of the shoulder joint definitely conflicts with the smooth looking line work that the torso is going for. However, these are both minor complaints to what I believe is the most distracting feature of them all, the 4 visible screws in Mazinger's back, especially the 2 silver ones on the waist. Certainly not the most impressive section to this toy. Standing at just over 5 inches tall, Mazinger is fairly small, but he does make up for that with his die-cast content. The chest, lower legs, and some of the joints are metal, and will surely give you that cool feel of Super Alloy Z. And not only does he feel cool, he also feels very compact, and he feels like this good, weighty action figure with a lot of presence. In terms of articulation, though, it's it's similar to what we've seen from the SRC lineup. So you've got the great emotive range of that head. The shoulders are on, actually, they're different. They're on more like SH Figuarts style ball joint within a ball joint shoulders, whereas newer SRCs have the swing out arm that I think looks better and works better. This goes with an older styling that has that sort of cutaway feature, which is, it does the job, but it's definitely not as good as the newer renditions. Everything else is pretty much the same, though. I mean, you got the great torso joint with the extendable click, although it's not as extending as I thought it would be. The arms are a single joint, but they are collapsible here, so you can get some good range. Ball jointed wrists, the pull down hip, the collapsible section panel here for the knee, and the ball jointed foot, which actually can't pull down to extend even more. So on the articulation front, if you were to compare this to, say, the newer Shin Mazinger, he doesn't quite hold up to the successor here, but he does pretty good for his age. The one thing I will say is that there are parts that seem kind of loose. I don't know if it's actually loose, though. I mean, like this arm, for example, it's really easy to nudge and move around. But the thing is, it'll stay where I want it to stay. But see that? It kind of just falls out. The hips aren't loose at all, but they're very easy to nudge. And I just don't know if that's going to get worse over time, or if that's just how the qualities of this figure. Now, he also comes with a Tamashii stage adapter, which you can just plug right here, and then you can put it on a Tamashii stage. And then from here, he can pose. Now, this is one, because he's small, and he's one of the few SRCs that can actually use a Tamashii stage and not fall off erratically, or just, let's just say he's safe sitting there. And finally, he also can benefit from the crossover joint feature. I mean, you can switch out the arms, and he does have the peg hole in his back to put on any sort of backpack you choose. So, yeah, there you go. Good posability, but just not quite as awesome as his successor. Mazinger comes with fists for beating on bad guys, as well as open palms, which come off a little creepy. You also get a pair of gripping hands to wield the Mazinger blade. Its chrome and gold finish may be simple, but it looks great nonetheless. The next item in the box is the right arm only reinforced rocket punch, which also has its own fist and open palm. Attachment is simple, as all you do is slide it over Mazinger's arm. It's definitely an awesome accessory, though due to its larger construction, elbow articulation is somewhat hindered. As for other accessories, well, that's kind of it. No effect parts for the Iron Cutter, Rust Hurricane, or even the famous Breastfire. Though, to be completely honest, I can't say I'm even the slightest bit surprised or even disappointed, because ultimately, Super Robot Chogokin Mazinger Z retails for a modest $35, and when compared to other figures of similar price, I'd say you're getting an equal amount of value in the box, much more when you consider that this is a die-cast action figure. Now I'll admit, I much prefer the modern stylings of the SRC Shin Mazinger Z, and on paper it's probably the better package overall. But this Mazinger, this is the one you want. It's the first, the original, the one laced with history and has a story to tell. I've always been a firm believer that there's a handful of robots that should be represented in every toy collection, and Mazinger Z is easily one of them. So if you've ever wanted a relatively inexpensive way to portray this iconic character on your shelf in physical form, then look no further than this Super Robot Chogokin release. I can't recommend this one enough. Anyways, this has been Type V3. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Of course, this Mazinger isn't quite complete, and is in dire need of a crucial add-on.